Yes, we do.
You good? Everyone's sitting on the front.
Yeah. I'm sure it's
Yeah, I'm going through it right now.
So what we're going to talk about is what is stress, how can we create some self-awareness around stress and understanding what stress is for you guys, and then how do we cope with it.
All right, you rolling?
I think we're ready.
Is this rolling?
What does mental health mean to me? I guess growing up, the idea of health was always physical, and then I've always thought of mental health as sort of the other half to that.
Isn't it interesting though that you consider it a secondary thing?
Yeah, it is.
What Movember does is we're the largest men's mental health charity in the world, and we've identified that esports is one of the best ways to reach kind of isolated young men.
Are you with me? For me, mental health is so important to make sure that you're vigilant of how you're feeling. It's something that you can't take for granted just because things are going good. You always just need to be aware.
How should we try to cope with uncontrollable stresses?
I mean, I remember I walked out the last fall final in like 2019, and before the game started, I was like, we know how to cast. You know what I mean? Like, we know how to cast. I'm kind of the person that I tell myself like I'm good. It's a crowd, like I've seen one or two of these before, no big deal. And then I walked out, and then I remember I was just like, like I couldn't do my intro, I couldn't speak. I'm looking up and I'm seeing rafters full of people, and like 10,000 people in the crowd, and I'm thinking like, this is insane. And that's when I had a panic attack. That's when I experienced stress that I'd never experienced before, and I didn't know what to do.
I feel like what a lot of people end up dealing with in esports is like the slow chipping away that just you cannot notice. In 1 year, I had a child being born, and then my dad died of cancer later in that year. But I was going through that while still working. I had some crazy anxiety attacks. I'd basically be in my bed for like 6 to 8 hours, just like, I could take deep breaths, but I couldn't, it was like I couldn't get enough oxygen. So having to go to the airport and show up for work, and obviously in a job where you're smiling and you're like a radiant person, you're there to like, yeah, wait, let's go. All of those things compounded into what I would consider now a sort of a mental health crisis.
Do you know what, I think the players though, they get it the very worst because people don't realise that outside of the game, they also have a normal life, they have families, they could have tragedies, they could have stuff going on.
Even if life is good and you're having the best period in your life and you just play one game and it goes to shit because...
Just had a bad day.
Yes, just had a bad day, and you play so many matches, you have shit travel days, like so many things that go into this. It's not really in your ability to choose how you perform in game.
I think definitely overwhelming part about Counter-Strike is the schedule. It gets just tiring to travel from event to event, be always on the camera. That's overwhelming.
For the past 2 years, I had this like exercise. We have 2 off seasons per year, one in summer, one in winter. Both are 4 weeks long. At the last week of each player break, I was kind of forcing myself to get sick, to build up immunity for the whole season so I don't get sick during the season. So I'm on purpose, on purpose in winter, I'm trying to get sick. It's mental, but like I was doing it for 2 years. Otherwise, I'm gonna be sick at the worst possible timing when the stress factors are super high, when the major is coming, when the qualifier is coming. And that's when I don't want to be sick.
People, when they want to blame you for something or they want to criticize you for something, they come at you from a point of where they're anonymous. They don't have their face, they don't have their real name there. Death threats and all sorts of people get.
We're all human at the end of the day, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the biggest one is definitely, why are you feeling bad? Why are you feeling burnout if you're getting paid that much money?
It feels like sometimes when there's been a problem or something has happened and we've had some tragedies, sadly, within the esports scene, it gets taken seriously for that bit of time and then forgotten about. And I think even people like me can be guilty of not talking about it enough or not reminding the audience how important it is.
If you're gonna get stressed out, it might be bigger than you, you know? You don't really have a choice. You can only decide whether or not you're going to address it.
That's what this is day one of. How can we create psychologically safe spaces that help improve mental health such that the hundreds of thousands of young people that watch this tournament engage on Twitter and all the media streams go, I want to be just like you.
It's kind of hard when you feel like not a man for talking about these things, but that's just a stereotype and not really true. When you do open up about it, you kind of realize how people are so supportive and people care about you, and it's your loved ones and the ones that really care about you that will help you get through these things.
Whenever anyone talks about anything mental health related, I've never tried it before where you're in a room with people and they say, I don't either know anyone or if like people always either know someone or they've experienced it themselves. So from that moment, I picked up the phone and I called a psychologist, and I think I was probably halfway crying in the phone. I just think the only thing I really even managed to say was, I really need help.
At the time, it was nerve-wracking to talk about it, but now I have no problem doing it. And you see the wonderful benefits of being able to speak out about it.
Mental health is a central topic and issue in esports, and I think they're going to do some really good stuff for the space that is going to make a massive difference.
Yeah, I think just the more that we chat about it, the bit easier it becomes to talk about it, you know? The more that people accept that we have feelings, I think the better for everyone, you know?
There is a lot of problems with mental health in esports, so I think it's a really good cause, so looking forward to it.
So when those things happen, what strategies do you guys use?
Maybe it's praising them or saying don't worry
Building
about
them
it.
back up.
Yeah, building them back up.
Will's running regularly, Shahar's in the gym, our IGL's in the gym. Part of being a pro CS player is looking after yourself.
I actually started doing this to people when I meet them, like kind of talking each other up before going on camera. You look really good today, or even just like I love the work you did last week, you know. It just makes people happy.